Welcome to Mind Like Space, where time slows, science whispers, and the cosmos becomes your lullaby. Tonight, we bring you the final chapter of our meditative journey through time, when time becomes you. A soft conclusion to the story that began with bending seconds and wandering starlight, and now ends in deep stillness. If you've traveled with us through these chapters, from light delays to black holes to time's quiet fade, we'd love to hear how these stories have made you feel. Has a chapter stayed with you? Did a concept shift your perspective? Share your reflections in the comments below. And if this series has brought you calm, wonder, or even sleep, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might need a quiet journey too. Now, take a breath. And let's dissolve gently into the stillness beyond time. Your body is still. Your breath, slow and smooth. Each inhale rises like a tide, each exhale drifts away like mist. You are here, in this moment, and this moment feels quiet, steady, whole. But what if this stillness is not what it seems? What if time itself, the very fabric of now, is not a constant drumbeat, but a pliable thread? Time, the invisible current you've always floated in, is not the same everywhere. It changes, not loudly, not rudely, but softly. Like shadows growing long before you notice. In one place, a minute might tiptoe by. In another, it might rush like wind through a canyon. And tonight, as your thoughts begin to unspool, you'll follow this strange flow. You might think of time as a ruler, straight, measured, predictable. But that ruler bends. Imagine a clock held in your hand. It's ticking steady, loyal. Now imagine someone else, far away, holding an identical clock, in a spaceship, racing among the stars. To you, their seconds pass more slowly. Not because the clock is broken, but because the universe allows time to stretch. This is time dilation. A real, tested truth. Not fiction, not myth. And it begins with a simple idea: time is part of space. Just as space bends around massive planets and stars, so too does time. You are living not just in a space with depth and width, but in a universe with time that can wrinkle and pull. Close your eyes again. Picture a trampoline, stretched flat. Now place a bowling ball in its center. The surface curves downward. If you roll a marble across, it doesn't move in a straight line anymore, it curves, drawn toward the ball. This is how gravity works, not as a pull, but as a bend in space and time. And you, standing near something heavy, like a planet or a star, are part of that bend. Your seconds, quietly, are slowed. Not enough to notice. Not enough to feel. But enough that a clock far above, floating free in space, ticks just a little faster than yours. It's not something you sense. You won't feel time tug or resist. It won't shout. But in deep labs, in still corners of the earth, atomic clocks have heard its whisper. They've been placed on mountains and in valleys. On planes, satellites, and in orbit. And each time, they tell the same story: the higher you go, the faster time flows. It's subtle, but it's real. If you stood at the bottom of a tall tower while someone stood at the top, and you both waited. Just waited, for years and years. You would age ever so slightly less than the person above. Not because you lived less, but because gravity touched your seconds and held them gently back. Time, you see, is not something you move through, it's something that moves with you. It wraps around you. It listens to how fast you travel. It leans into how close you stand to gravity's heart. It is elastic, like breath. And this truth reshapes what it means to simply exist. You are not just living a day. You are surfing a current, and every place in the universe rides its own rhythm. Astronauts, high above, orbit the Earth at great speed. And so, for them, time slows down. Their hearts beat slightly fewer beats, their bodies drift slightly younger, not by much, but enough to measure. Enough to know. The faster you move, the more time bends. It's as if speed stretches the hours like taffy, pulling them longer. And gravity, in its quiet strength, does the same, folding time down into deeper wells. Together, speed and mass turn time from a straight path into a winding road. And so, as you lie here, still and quiet, you are floating in a local rhythm, the song of Earth's gravity, the stillness of your rest. But out there, beyond this room, beyond the sky, time dances differently. Faster. Slower. Sideways, almost. You are made of moments, yes. But those moments are not identical across the cosmos. They stretch, they breathe, they lean toward stars or slip away with motion. And suddenly, the seconds you trust so deeply feel delicate. Like snowflakes, no two quite the same, even when they fall together. Let that idea rest softly in your mind. You are not just part of time, you are wrapped in its variations. You live in a universe where the very pace of existence changes with the terrain. And so, when you feel time pass, when minutes fade and nights grow long, know that somewhere else, someone else is feeling it differently. Because time is not fair. It is not cruel, either. It is simply responsive. You drift deeper now, your breath longer, your body looser. The rhythm of your own time wraps around you like a blanket. And in this softened state, you begin to wonder. If two people, holding two clocks, can watch their seconds grow out of sync, what happens when they try to meet again? Do they return to the same now, or find themselves in different tomorrows? That question waits just ahead, with two ticking clocks, and the story of a journey through space. You hold a clock in your hand. Its ticking is steady, each second, like a soft footstep on an endless path. It comforts you, this rhythm. It gives shape to your thoughts, your days, your sleep. Now, look up. Imagine someone you love holding the same clock, miles above, orbiting the Earth. They're looking back at you, smiling, drifting in silence. And though both clocks begin in perfect unison, slowly, they fall out of step. This is not imagination. This is not a trick. It is the story of time's quiet betrayal, told through something real, something proven, the twin paradox. Picture this, two identical twins. They laugh, grow, and live side by side, their lives unfolding in rhythm. But one day, one of them boards a spaceship. They wave goodbye and soar into the stars, moving fast, faster, then faster still. The other remains on Earth, grounded, breathing the same air they always have. To both of them, time feels the same. To each twin, a minute still holds 60 seconds. But physics holds a secret. Because the twin who travels, who races through the cosmos, is entering a different relationship with time. Their body is the same. Their memories are the same. But the faster they move, the slower their clock ticks compared to the one left behind. The journey through space is also a journey through stretched time. Not long ago, this was just theory, a thought experiment. But now, it's been tested. Real astronauts, circling Earth at immense speeds, age just a little slower than those on the ground. Not enough to feel, but enough to see, with precision instruments, with atomic clocks that count each tick with unyielding honesty. This slowness isn't sickness. It's not fatigue. It's nature, responding to speed, to motion. Because motion bends time, and with that bending comes a shift in reality. The twin in space, upon returning home, will find that more time has passed on Earth than in their own body. One twin older. One twin younger. The clocks no longer match. The faces no longer match. And the story becomes bittersweet, because while their love is still whole, their experience of time is not. And yet, isn't this always true, in a gentler way? Even here, on Earth, you and those around you never quite share the same moment. Time passes differently for a bird in flight than for the tree it lands on. For someone on a mountain peak, and someone at sea level. For a satellite sending you directions, and for your footsteps on the road. The paradox is not that clocks fall out of sync, the paradox is that we ever believed they wouldn't. You begin to see now, time is personal. It wraps around you, considers your speed, your position, your story. It doesn't ask if you agree. It simply adjusts. And so, you look again at your clock. It still ticks. Still steady. Still faithful. But now, you wonder, who else's time is drifting quietly away from yours? You imagine again the traveler in orbit, perhaps it is you. Watching Earth spin slowly below, rising and setting in intervals that feel unfamiliar. Your heart beats. You smile. You rest. But below, the one you left behind is aging faster than you are. Their memories are building. Their body is changing. You're separated not just by space, but by time itself. And when you finally return, when your ship slices back through the atmosphere like a falling star, you may step into a moment that feels slightly off. Their clock reads a little further than yours. Their skin has grown a little older. And time has left its mark in silence. Still, they greet you the same. Still, you hold each other, remembering the rhythm you once shared. But in this embrace lies something cosmic, a truth bigger than both of you. That time, which you once believed was a shared thread, is really a web, stretching and sagging in response to how you move. And yet, you adapt. Your hearts still beat, even if not in unison. You still laugh together, even if your journeys have curved through time in different ways. Time dilation, as strange as it sounds, is not cold or mechanical. It is delicate. Personal. Like two leaves drifting on a river, floating apart, not by choice, but by the shape of the current beneath them. And what of those currents? What shapes them? You've seen how speed affects time. But there's another force, one that touches you even more deeply. It's around you now, holding you gently to the earth. It's gravity. The same force that keeps your feet on the floor also slows your seconds. And if you were to step away from it, even slightly, you'd begin to feel time loosen again. But what does it truly mean for gravity to bend time, and how deep does that well go? That's the mystery waiting quietly in the next chapter, where mass and motion paint time's hidden curves. Your body is a quiet symphony. Each breath you take, each thump of your heart, each flicker of thought, they all move to a rhythm. Even when you sleep, even when you dream, a clock ticks within you. Not the kind that hangs on a wall, but one woven into your very cells. This is your biological time, and it pulses gently through you like a tide. You don't think about it, but your body knows the hour. Your skin knows when to warm. Your eyes know when to soften. Hormones whisper when it's time to rest, and when it's time to wake. This silent choreography is called the circadian rhythm, your internal 24-hour song. And like all rhythms, it craves constancy. Here on Earth, your rhythm listens to light. Sunrise and sunset are the soft hands that wind your internal clock each day. Even when your eyes are closed, your body listens. Your cells hum to a beat shaped by sunlight, not just in warmth, but in time. Now imagine, you are no longer here. You have left the Earth. You float gently above it, in orbit, wrapped in silence. The sun rises, then sets, then rises again, over and over. 16 times a day. Your body, once so sure of its place in time, begins to lose its rhythm. Because without Earth's slow turning, without the gentle promise of a single dawn and dusk, your internal compass spins. Sleep becomes restless. Hunger arrives like a stranger, not a friend. Hormones falter. Body temperature wavers. And your inner symphony drifts off key. This is the strange truth of time in space. You may carry a clock. You may watch its hands move. But inside you, time begins to wobble. Astronauts feel this. They often live on strict schedules, their days carved into careful segments of work, exercise, and sleep. They follow artificial day and night cycles, light systems programmed to mimic sunrise and sunset. Because without this guidance, the body forgets. And forgetting time is like forgetting how to breathe. Even your memory, your sense of self, depends on this rhythm. You remember not just what happened, but when it happened. Time is the thread that stitches your life together. Without it, moments lose meaning. They become scattered, dreamlike, unanchored. And so, you see now, your body doesn't just experience time. It needs it. It obeys it. But here is where things become even stranger. Not only does your body respond to time, time responds to your body. Every atom inside you is a clock of sorts. Your heart, your blood, your muscles, all made of particles that obey the laws of physics. And those laws say, when you move fast, when you fall through gravity, when you enter strange new places in space, time slows. Even your cells feel it, subtly. Even your DNA ages differently when your speed and gravity change. This is not just theory. Twin studies, like NASA's famous experiment, have shown that time affects biology in measurable ways. One twin on Earth, the other in space. Same genes. Same heart. But time, treated differently, leaves its trace. Tiny changes in telomeres, the ends of DNA. Shifts in gene expression. In inflammation. In cognition. Time, warped by space, leaves its fingerprints on the body. But perhaps the most beautiful truth is this. Even in the absence of Earth's rhythm, your body tries. It resists the confusion. It reclaims its tempo. Like a musician playing alone in the dark, it listens for a beat that is no longer there. And tries to keep time anyway. You drift now, imagining your body not just as something in time, but as something that carries time. Each cell a drummer, each organ a string, playing softly beneath your skin. And though space may bend the world around you, you carry Earth's rhythm like a lullaby, deep within you, wherever you go. So, what happens when the environment itself becomes so massive, so strange? That time bends not just your rhythm, but the very pace of your seconds? What happens when gravity becomes the storyteller? That's the pull of the next chapter, where you fall not through space, but through time. Close your eyes. Now imagine that your body is still, utterly still. But the world is racing past you, stars blurring like silver brushstrokes. You are inside a vessel, smooth and silent, moving at a speed beyond anything you've ever known. There is no roar, no shaking, only motion, vast, clean, endless. Outside, the galaxies slip past. Their light stretches into streaks, their colors shift like whispers. And yet, within you, everything feels slow. Calm. Suspended. This is the paradox of speed. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. To the universe, you are a clock, and that clock ticks differently the closer it gets to the speed of light. It's not just theory. It's not imagination. It is a truth written into the equations of space-time, a quiet truth, proven by experiment, felt by those who have circled the Earth above us. They return slightly younger than they would have been. Not by minutes. Not by hours. But by slivers, fractions of time that whisper of something much bigger. Speed, Einstein taught us, is not just a number. It's a sculptor. It shapes time. It stretches seconds like thread. It turns a moment into a bubble, thin, light, floating differently than the rest. And so, imagine now, you are flying close to light's edge. 99%. 99.9. At this speed, the laws of time begin to shift in earnest. Back on Earth, the world spins on. Children grow, trees bloom and wither, rivers change their course. But inside your speeding vessel, time has folded itself inward. You feel the seconds pass, you eat, sleep, dream. But when you return, you find that decades have passed. You are the same. The world is not. This is not fantasy. This is time dilation, a slowing of time caused by motion itself. The faster you move, the more time slows for you, compared to those at rest. And so, imagine now, you are flying close to light's edge. 99%. 99.9. At this speed, the laws of time begin to shift in earnest. Back on Earth, the world spins on. Children grow, trees bloom and wither, rivers change their course. But inside your speeding vessel, time has folded itself inward. You feel the seconds pass, you eat, sleep, dream. But when you return, you find that decades have passed. You are the same. The world is not. This is not fantasy. This is time dilation, a slowing of time caused by motion itself. The faster you move, the more time slows for you, compared to those at rest. And though you don't feel it, though your heart keeps its pace, your thoughts drift as always. The clocks don't lie. It's like walking in a dream. Not because things are unreal, but because they are unfamiliar. Reality, at high speeds, begins to feel soft around the edges. In this realm, the sky bends too. Light changes color. Objects shorten in the direction of travel, a strange effect called length contraction. Space and time begin to blur together. They become space-time, a single fabric, pliable and alive. And as you drift here, between the stars, you begin to understand that motion and time are not separate things. They are partners in a dance you never knew you were watching. Because to stay still is to experience time in one way. But to move, truly move, is to reshape it. You think now of astronauts in the International Space Station. They move fast, 17,500 miles per hour. And for them, time ticks just a little slower. Not enough to change a life, but enough to remind us motion matters. And what if we could go faster? Much faster. To the edge of light itself. What would we see? We'd see stars frozen in their birthlight. Galaxies frozen mid-spin. Because time for the outside world would speed up, blur forward. And you would float in a bubble of extended now. And yet, there is a limit. You cannot reach the speed of light, not if you have mass. It would require infinite energy, a cost the universe does not allow. So we ride the edge, leaning toward the impossible, but never quite touching it. Still, the dream remains. Of traveling far and returning home to a different era. Of touching a future not yet born. And in a way, it's already real. Particles called muons, born high in Earth's atmosphere, move so fast that their lifespans stretch. They should vanish in microseconds, but they live long enough to reach the ground. Their speed bends time, and time grants them extra moments. So even the tiniest travelers know this truth. Speed is a kind of key, one that unlocks time's elasticity. And you, too, are made of motion. Even now, as you rest, the Earth spins beneath you. It orbits the Sun. The Sun circles the center of our galaxy. Everything moves. Nothing is truly still. But in this moment, you can feel both truths. The deep stillness within you and the silent speed that carries you through space. You lie back, breathing gently, and wonder how far you'd have to go, how fast you'd have to move. To feel time slow so deeply it feels like sleep. And if speed can shape time so profoundly, what happens when gravity begins to press its hand on the clock? What happens near the edge of something vast and heavy, where even light can no longer escape? That's where you're headed next, into gravity's quiet embrace. You lie still, but the world around you curves. Gravity, the familiar force that holds you to the Earth, is more than just a pull. It is not a rope tugging downward, not a magnet clinging to your feet. It is the bending of space itself, and with it, the bending of time. Close your eyes and picture the sky above you. Deep, vast, quiet. Out there, the Earth spins beneath a shroud of stars. And space, though it seems empty, is shaped by what it holds. Now imagine a blanket stretched tight. Place a heavy ball in its center. The surface dips, curves around the mass. Anything that passes by a marble, a thread, a breath, will roll inward, drawn not by touch, but by the curve itself. This is gravity. And you are not just standing on Earth, you are sitting at the bottom of a very gentle well. A well made not of stone, but of space-time. And here's the quiet magic, time moves slower at the bottom of that well. Your seconds, here on Earth's surface, stretch just a bit more than they would at the top of a mountain. Your minutes are heavier. Not in feeling, not in function, but in how they flow. gravity presses softly on time's river, making it run slow near its depth. You don't notice. Your heart beats normally. Your eyes blink at their usual pace. But above you, in the sky, on a satellite, on the moon, time is moving a little faster. This difference is real. It must be accounted for in your phone's GPS, in satellite signals that guide planes and ships. The clocks up there run slightly ahead, not because they're broken, but because they live in shallower gravity. Even a tiny change in elevation, a step upward, lets time run freer. It is as if each height holds its own version of now. And if you descend deep underground, into the Earth's crust, time slows further, by the tiniest shade. Gravity pulls not just on your body. It slows your experience of reality, not to punish, not to warn, but simply because that's how the universe works. Now let your thoughts drift further. Beyond the Earth, past the moon, past the reach of light pollution or atmosphere. You approach something massive. A star, maybe. Or something stranger. A collapsed sun, so dense, so heavy, that it curves space into a spiral. A black hole. You do not fall into it yet. You hover near, safe, distant, but close enough to feel time slip from your grasp. Here, gravity is not gentle. It is fierce, precise, unrelenting. And it bends time so deeply that a single minute for you might be an hour elsewhere, or a day, or a year. To you, nothing feels different. But from the outside, you appear frozen. Stuck in a single moment, inching forward like molasses. Your clock, though it ticks for you, has fallen behind the rest of the universe. This is the gravity well at its deepest. Time doesn't stop, but it slows to a whisper. A heartbeat stretched across eternity. You are now not just a traveler through space, you are a diver in time. And though black holes are extreme, they reveal something universal. That mass, even the mass of your own planet, affects time. Gravity slows it. Gently. Firmly. It touches every atom, every breath, every blink. It reaches into your dreams without ever laying a hand. And so, here you are. Lying still. Floating in a curved pocket of the universe. Your seconds flow in one rhythm. While far away, on a distant star or drifting satellite, they flow differently. And no place can claim to be the true center of time. There is no universal clock. There are only local clocks. Each one moving to the tempo of its surroundings. And as you feel that truth settle over you like a soft blanket, you begin to ask deeper questions. If gravity can change the rhythm of time, what happens when we try to measure it across great distances? When we send light across the cosmos, can we still know what now means? Does the universe have a single present moment? Or are we all living in slightly different versions of now? Those questions linger as you float gently forward toward a paradox written in the stars. A story of two people, two clocks, and one curious journey through time. Imagine two hearts beating in rhythm, twins born in the same breath. Eyes opening to the same sunrise. Laughing at the same jokes. Living side by side as if their moments were stitched together like a shared dream. And now imagine one of them leaving. Not just the city or the country, but the planet. One twin boards a spacecraft, sleek and gleaming. The other remains grounded, feet firm on the Earth's turning skin. They hug, tight, the kind of hug that knows what's about to change. And then, with a silent surge, the ship lifts toward the stars. This isn't a story of fantasy. This is the thought experiment Einstein offered the world. A paradox not to confuse, but to reveal. Because both twins carry clocks. Both believe they are right. But when the traveler returns, years later, they have aged differently. Let's walk gently into this mystery. The traveling twin moves fast. So fast, in fact, that time bends around their motion. Each second stretches slightly longer. Each hour takes just a little more time to pass, from Earth's perspective. But to the one in the ship, time feels normal. They breathe. They eat. They write. They sleep. The stars pass slowly by. And still, the clock on the ship ticks forward like always. Meanwhile, the earthbound twin continues their days. Sunrises, seasons, birthdays, the rhythm unfolds. And though they miss their sibling, life hums on. But when the journey ends, when the ship returns, streaking through the sky like a memory, the two meet again, face to face. And the paradox is revealed. The traveling twin is younger. Their skin smoother. Their bones just slightly more untouched by time. The years have passed unevenly, like two rivers parting around a bend and rejoining again downstream. But how? From the traveler's view, it was the Earth that moved. So shouldn't the twin on Earth be younger? This is where motion and acceleration make their mark. The traveler changed frames. Accelerated to leave, turned to return, and decelerated to land. These changes matter. They break the symmetry of the story. You see, in the language of relativity, it's not just speed that matters. It's the path through space-time. The world line, the journey. And the twin who stays on Earth follows a gentler curve, while the one in space carves a sharper arc, twisting time into something slightly slower. It is strange. It is beautiful. And it is true. This paradox has been tested. Not with humans, yet. But with particles and clocks sent aboard fast-moving jets and satellites. Each time, time stretches, just as the math predicts. And so the story becomes more than theory. It becomes reflection. What is age, really, if it can be stretched? What is now, if it depends on how you move? You sit with these questions, letting them echo softly. Because if two people can share a beginning, and live different durations, then time is not fixed. It is personal. It is lived. And what of memory? Does the older twin carry more? Do they remember more sunrises, more rain? Or does the younger twin feel cheated? Like time slipped past, unearned? No. There is no winner. No one is ahead or behind. There is only a difference. A gentle ripple in the shared pool of experience. And when the twins embrace again, they do not count the seconds. They share their stories. They fill in each other's gaps. And time, strange as it is, feels whole once more. You see, relativity is not just math. It's emotion. It's the way time binds and bends not just the universe, but relationships, memories, lives. You wonder now if this is true for twins. Is it true for us all? Do we each live slightly different timelines, drifting gently apart from one another, held loosely by the illusion of shared time? And if so, how do we find each other again? Perhaps, like the twins, we listen. We reach. We forgive the gaps. We cherish the overlaps. You breathe gently now, wrapped in the quiet wonder of the paradox. Two clocks, two lives. Forever bound, yet gently untwined by the curves of motion and time. And as you drift into sleep, you begin to see something new. If time stretches and slows based on where we are and how we move, what happens to the light that travels to us from distant stars? Could the very light in the sky be carrying secrets from stretched, delayed, ancient time? That's the shimmer waiting in the next chapter, a soft echo from across the cosmos. You lift your eyes to the night sky. Above you, stars shimmer with quiet confidence. Pinpricks of light scattered across a vast canvas. But what you see is not the present. It is memory. A long, slow procession of past moments finally arriving at your eyes. That star twinkling gently? It may have burned its last breath before you were born. Because light, even though it moves faster than anything else in the universe, still takes time to travel. And space is wide. Unfathomably wide. When you look into the sky, you are not seeing space as it is. You are seeing it as it was. Some starlight is years old. Some is hundreds. Some are millions, even billions. The further you look, the deeper into the past you reach. You are not just stargazing. You are time-gazing. And in this glowing quietness, you begin to understand. Even light, which seems so swift and immediate, is wrapped in time's strange fabric. Imagine this. A beam of light leaves a galaxy 1 billion years ago. It travels, steady and straight, across the endless dark. But space is not smooth. It is bent. Warped by gravity. Rippled by mass. And so the light curves, stretches, slows, not because it wants to, but because space tells it to. This bending of light is called gravitational lensing. A phenomenon where the light from distant objects is distorted by the mass of something in its path. Like a galaxy or a cluster of galaxies. It's as if time itself is a sheet of glass. And mass is a fingerprint pressed gently into it. The light warps around the print, curving like water around a rock. And when that light reaches you, after eons of travel, it carries a story not just of its origin, but of everything it passed. You may see the same galaxy multiple times. Its image copied and curved by gravity's silent hand. You may see light that was delayed, like a letter arriving long after it was written. Sometimes, the same event, like a star's explosion, reaches Earth from different paths, at different times. And this is time's delay. Its gentle hesitation. Its way of reminding you that nothing moves untouched. The universe is a maze. Not of walls, but of warps. And light, the fastest messenger, must still obey its twists. You sit now, quietly. Your mind turns over this idea like a smooth stone. Every beam of starlight is ancient. Every photograph of the cosmos is a layered time capsule. What you see now may no longer exist. But it did. And the light remembers. This realization softens something in you. Because suddenly, loss feels different. A dying star still speaks, even millions of years after it vanishes. Its final light, still warm, still real, still reaching. Time may be stretched, but it is not cruel. And you are not separate from this. Your own eyes catch photons that have traveled across eternity. Your own skin feels warmth born in the heart of the sun 8 minutes ago. Even now, you are touched by the past. But what of now? In a universe where every sight is delayed, where every image is old, can we ever know the true present? This is one of time's gentle riddles. Because the deeper you look into space, the older the light becomes. The more distant, the more ancient. There is no single, shared now across the cosmos. No universal clock that tells all galaxies what time it is. Only local truths. Each place with its own pace. Each observer with their own version of the present. This isn't a failure of understanding. It is the structure of reality. Time is not flat. It is sloped and bent and personal. And so, as you gaze at the stars, you begin to feel it. You are part of a layered present. A tapestry woven from moments both near and far. You see stars as they were. You live your own now. And you imagine futures waiting to be revealed. Even vision, you realize, is a form of time travel. A gentle, constant journey into the past. And in this, there is beauty. Because the universe is not static. It is in motion. And so is time. But even as light delays and curves and dances through space-time, it still arrives. It still shines. It still touches you, gently. And you, too, are made of light. You carry within you particles born in stars. You remember in your very atoms the delays and dances of time. And as your breath deepens, as your thoughts soften, you wonder? If we use light to look outward and backward, can we also use it to find our way? To guide, to measure, to navigate this bending reality? That's the journey of the next chapter, where time's dance becomes a tool and space becomes a map. Because to live in a world of slippery time is also to learn how to move through it. You are adrift in space. Not lost, but floating. As if the universe has loosened its grip just enough to let you drift. There is no north, no up, no down. Only the gentle hush of stars and the patient ripple of time. And yet, somehow, explorers still find their way. How? In a world where light bends and time stretches, how can you map anything at all? You begin with what arrives. Light. Ancient, delayed, faithful light. It carries with it not only the memory of what once was, but clues about where it came from, how far it traveled, and how the universe shifted beneath it. Astronomers gather this light with hungry instruments. Telescopes tuned like musical ears. Listening not just for brightness, but for timing. You see, when light stretches, its color shifts. From blue to red, a lengthening, like the lowering of a lullaby. This is called redshift. It tells us the object is moving away. That space itself has expanded during the light's long journey. And that shift? It's a breadcrumb. A trail. A quiet signature in the fabric of space-time. By measuring redshift, scientists measure distance. Not in kilometers or miles, but in how long the light has been traveling. The farther the galaxy, the redder the light. The older the image. And so, your sky becomes a map of time. Each dot a marker. Each glow a timestamp. But time doesn't only travel with light. It also moved with waves. Ripples in space-time itself. In 2015, a new kind of cosmic whisper was heard. Not from stars or galaxies, but from gravitational waves. Two black holes collided, far away, long ago. And the impact sent tremors across the universe. Not in matter, but in time itself. When those waves reached Earth, they stretched and compressed the space between particles by less than the width of a proton. And yet, we heard it. A shiver. A ripple. A story written in the movement of time. These waves tell us when something happened and where. They help us build a map not just of space, but of time's deep terrain. You see now, the universe is not mapped with roads or paths. It's mapped with moments. Each star's flicker, each wave's arrival, each delay in light. They form a net. A framework of when, not just where. And if time is curved, if gravity and motion pull at the hours, then the map must bend too. That's where relativity comes in. Scientists do not assume a flat stage. They use equations that curve and stretch with the universe's shape. They let time flow at different speeds in different places, and trace the paths objects follow through this shifting sea. It is not easy, but it is beautiful. Imagine this. A satellite orbits Earth. To navigate, to know its position, it relies on signals from other satellites. Tiny pulses of time. But the clocks must be corrected. For the satellite is farther from Earth's gravity. And moving fast. If we didn't adjust for time dilation, GPS would lead us miles astray each day. Time isn't just a background to navigation. It is navigation. You lie still now, listening to your own heartbeat. It, too, keeps time. It, too, follows rhythms shaped by gravity, light, and sleep. And though you may never leave Earth, your body, your mind, floats through this map every day. Because even walking across a room, you move through slightly different zones of time. The differences are tiny, but they are there. They are real. And now, you see? You are always traveling through time's landscape. Not just toward the future, but through its curves, its slopes, its soft corners. You are the map. Your thoughts hold time. Your breath carries its pulse. And when you look up, at stars billions of years away, at galaxies bent by invisible hands. You are not gazing at something foreign. You are gazing at a reflection of your own journey. Because time, like light, does not just travel. It builds. It lays the architecture of reality. It sculpts the sky into memory. And carves your life into coordinates. Now, as sleep begins to draw you inward. You wonder? If time can be measured and mapped. If light and waves can chart the terrain. Can time itself be slowed enough to pause? To hover in place, as if held between heartbeats? That's the stillness ahead, a gravity so deep, even time must stop to listen. You are nearing the edge of a black hole, and the horizon of time itself. You float now in the quietest part of the cosmos. Not because there's no sound, but because even time has softened its voice. Ahead of you is a dark sphere, darker than shadow, darker than night. A black hole. It does not glow. It does not reach. But it bends everything around it, even the rhythm of time itself. You are approaching what physicists call the event horizon. The invisible border where time stretches so far. It nearly stops. You've heard of it before. A place where gravity is so strong. Not even light can escape. But what does that mean, really? It means that as you drift closer, every second you experience grows longer in the eyes of someone far away. From your perspective, your clock ticks on. You blink. You breathe. You float steadily toward the horizon. But to a distant observer, you begin to slow. Not your ship. Not your body. Your time. They see your movement decelerate. Your light dim, your image stretch. You approach the edge, but never quite cross it. From their view, you freeze, suspended forever at the border. But you continue. And here lies one of the universe's most poetic contradictions. You pass the threshold of a black hole. And no one ever sees you do it. You vanish not with a bang, but with a pause. To you, nothing feels strange. You are calm, curious, moving gently through folded space. But time is no longer behaving the way it did. At this point, clocks cease to agree. Not by seconds, but by eternities. Inside the black hole, time is no longer something you travel through. It becomes a direction you fall toward. Like space, it gains gravity. It becomes vertical. The deeper you fall, the more time loses its meaning. And yet, for you, in your vessel, in your mind, time still flows. You are still you. You still remember. But there is no turning back. Because within the horizon, all paths lead inward, not outward. Not even light can break free. It would need to move faster than itself to escape. So messages can no longer be sent. Images can no longer be seen. It is not a prison of walls. It is a prison of time. And here you begin to feel something profound. That time is not just a measurement. It is a boundary. Crossing the event horizon means entering a region where the future is no longer shared. Where after means something different for you than for anyone else. From the outside, you are frozen in a single moment. From the inside, you are still falling. This is the quiet heartbreak of black holes. They split reality not with violence, but with timing. Even light, which always rushes to tell the story, can no longer speak. You wonder now, what lies deeper? At the center of a black hole is a place no one has ever seen. Not even in theory. A singularity. Where mass collapses into a point, and time collapses with it. It is a place where the laws we know no longer hold. Where time may stop altogether. Or become something else entirely. But you don't need to reach that center to feel the awe. Because here, at the edge, you are already touching a mystery. You have entered a place where before and after are no longer universal. Where now is personal. Where presence becomes an island, floating in the silence. And still, you feel peace. Because time slowing is not painful. It is gentle. It is like slipping into deeper sleep. You feel your breath slow. Your heartbeat steady. Your thoughts soft as clouds. You are not gone. You are simply elsewhere. A place where every moment stretches. Where every memory lingers. And as you rest in this stretched second, you wonder, if time can slow to nothing here, can it reverse? Can we go back? Could we ever walk backward through the river and return to where we began? That longing carries you into the next chapter, where time's arrow may not point just one way. Where memory, entropy, and the mystery of before and after unfold like a question never fully asked. You wake within a moment stretched thin. Behind you lies the black hole's hush. Its silence like a closed book. Before you, time, still moving, still whispering forward. But you wonder now, as stars shimmer in the corners of your memory. Why does time move in only one direction? The universe, after all, is made of equations. Precise, balanced, symmetrical. You could reverse them. Play them backward, and they would still make sense. A planet orbits a star, forward or back. An electron spirals in its field either way. The math allows it. So why does your tea never end steep? Why do you not grow younger? Why does a shattered glass not leap whole from the floor? Because something else is moving forward. Not just time, but entropy. Entropy is not chaos, exactly. It is possibility. It's the measure of how many ways something can be arranged. An unbroken egg? Very specific. Very ordered. But a broken one? So many pieces. So many ways to scatter, to smear, to drip. Entropy tells us this. The universe moves from fewer arrangements to more. From neat to messy. From low entropy to high. And that journey, from order to disorder, is what gives time its arrow. You live inside that arrow. Each second that passes increases the universe's entropy. Each breath. Each thought. Even the stars, burning and collapsing, follow it. It is not a law that says time must move forward. It is a tendency. A leaning. A deep preference written into the fabric of the cosmos. And it is this that makes the past different from the future. The past is filled with fewer possibilities. The future? Countless. You remember the cracked shell, the spilled milk, the words once spoken. They happened in one way. But what comes next? An open canvas. A sea of maybes. And yet, you long for the past. You reach for it in dreams. You replay it in thought. You build stories from it. And call them identity. Because while entropy pushes time forward, memory gives you the illusion of holding it. Your brain, too, follows the arrow. It stores experiences in one direction only. You remember yesterday. Not tomorrow. And so the future remains unread. While the past becomes a story. Written in your own words. Held in your own mind. You wonder now. If entropy is what gives time its direction. What if we could lower it? What if we could reverse it? Would time walk backward? Would spilled ink gather again? Would old friends grow closer instead of farther away? In theory, perhaps. In practice, no. Because the scale is too vast. The odds, too steep. To reverse entropy across a system as large as your body, your world, your sky, it would be like trying to reassemble smoke. Not impossible mathematically, but overwhelmingly unlikely. And yet, in small places, strange things happen. In quantum worlds, particles sometimes behave as if time is reversible. A photon bounces off a mirror and behaves like it knows what's coming. But this is not true time travel. It is echo. It is probability. The arrow still holds. Even in black holes, where time nearly stops. It does not reverse. Because the larger universe still leans forward, still unravels, still expands. Entropy grows. And time, loyal to its master, walks behind. You lie quietly now, wrapped in this truth. That you, too, are part of this leaning. Your memories, your laughter, your losses. All ripples in the current. And yet, there is peace in the forward flow. It gives life a path. It gives stories a beginning, a middle, an end. You cannot rewind. But you can revisit. Not through time machines, but through thought. You carry your yesterdays with you. Not as prisons, but as lanterns. You are not stuck in time. You are woven into it. And just as the stars leave their light behind, you, too, leave traces. Moments of warmth. Words shared. Smiles remembered. So perhaps, the question isn't how to move backward, but how to walk forward gently. With presence. With awareness. With gratitude for this ever-unfolding now. And as you drift deeper into sleep, one final question lingers like a breath. If time has a beginning and always flows forward, does it ever truly end? That's where we'll go next, to the farthest edge of time itself. Where stars go dark and seconds dissolve into stillness. The final chapter of time's long dream. You are weightless. Not in body, but in being. You've passed through the fabric of time. From seconds stretched by speed, to hours bent by gravity, to days remembered only in mind. Now, there is only stillness. A deep, expansive hush. The kind that feels like the universe itself is holding its breath. You have arrived at the far future. Not years, not millennia, but trillions of years from now. Where galaxies have scattered like leaves in wind, and stars have all gone dark. This is what scientists call the heat death of the universe. A poetic name for a quiet truth. That everything once warm, once lit, once changing, has slowly, inevitably, come to rest. But let's drift there slowly. Let's listen to how time fades. First go the stars. They burn their fuel. Hydrogen into helium, light into warmth. But that fuel runs out. Small stars fade into quiet embers. Large ones collapse, explode, or become black holes. For a time, an immense time, black holes rule the universe. They sit like guardians, swallowing light, bending time. Dark kings in a dark kingdom. But even they are not forever. Through a process called Hawking radiation, black holes leak. Not fast. Not loudly. But slowly. So slowly that it takes longer than the current age of the universe for a single large black hole to vanish. And yet, in this far future place, that time has passed. Black holes, too, are gone. Evaporated into soft whispers of energy. What remains? A thin mist of particles. Photons stretched into long, cold wavelengths. Neutrons drifting alone. A universe flattened, not in space, but in change. Because that is what heat death truly means. Not destruction, but equilibrium. Everything is the same temperature. Everywhere. Nothing flows. Nothing clumps. Nothing happens. And without difference, without change, time loses meaning. You see, time is not made of seconds. It is made of events. Of before and after. Of then and now. But here, in the faded future, there is no before. Nothing changes. And so, time stops. Not by force. Not in violence. But in stillness. This is the end of time's arrow. The entropy that once drove moments forward has reached its peak. There are no more arrangements to unfold. No more eggs to crack. No more stars to light. And yet, you are still here. Watching. Drifting. Listening to the soft static of what remains. It is not a sad place. It is not cold or cruel. It is complete. Like a song whose final note has faded, but whose melody echoes still. You begin to wonder, is this truly the end? Or is it a doorway? Some scientists believe that from this vast stillness, a new universe might one day bloom. A fluctuation, a wrinkle, a new Big Bang. A rebirth from silence. Others say time will stretch eternally, unfolding into thinner and thinner hours. Forever empty, forever quiet. But no one truly knows. And perhaps that's the point. Because time, like you, is not meant to be fully grasped. Only felt. Only followed. You think now of all the ways time has touched you. The gentle way mornings arrive. The ache of memory. The thrill of next. And even here, at the edge of everything, you carry that with you. Not in clocks. Not in calendars. But in presence. The presence of a life lived in time's rhythm. Of breaths and pauses. Of love and wonder. Of motion and rest. You are not separate from time. You are time. A ripple in its ocean. A heartbeat in its song. And so you rest here. At the end that may be a beginning. Letting the silence wash over you like velvet. Nothing stirs. Nothing breaks. And yet, somewhere beyond the edge of what we know, a whisper may form. A flicker. A new rhythm. A new time. But that is for another story. For now, you are still. Not because the universe demands it, but because you belong to this pause. You are the space between ticks. You are the breath between stars. You are the gentle memory of time. At peace. Sleep well, traveler. Time has carried you far. And now, you may rest. There is no more before. No more after. Only the endless, soft now. And in it, you are still here. Not as you once were. Not as body or breath, heartbeat or memory. But as something quieter. Something deeper. You are the trace time left behind. You begin to realize. All this while, you were never truly separate from time. You weren't just walking through it. Like a traveler along a path. No, you were the path. Each step. Each pause. Each curve in the road. Time did not happen to you. It became you. Close your eyes. Do you feel the warmth of a childhood sun? The silence of a first snowfall? The hush between words spoken in love? Those were not just moments. They are the threads of your being. You are stitched from time. Its rhythm shaped your thoughts. Its flow carved your choices. Its pauses taught you to feel. And now that the clocks have quieted, now that stars have gone still, you feel no loss. Because the ticking was never outside you. It was your breath. Your blink. The space between your thoughts. And now, you are free from needing time. Yet still made of it. Like a wave that remembers the ocean. Like music that lingers even after the last note fades. All that you've passed through. Gravity's pull. Light's delay. Entropy's direction. Was never separate from you. Each idea became part of your shape. Each mystery, a fold in your awareness. You remember falling through stretched seconds near a black hole. You remember walking beside twins with mismatched clocks. You remember photons arriving late. Carrying memories of stars long gone. And now, all those things live within you. You are a cathedral built of moments. And though time has gone silent around you, its echoes still glow softly in your walls. Perhaps this is what the end of time means. Not nothingness, but completion. A circle. A return. Not to a starting point, but to a knowing. Because in this stillness, you understand. You were never racing against time. You were dancing with it, playing inside its ripples, exploring all the ways change could feel. And now that change has ceased. You are not diminished. You are distilled. Pure presence. Pure knowing. A soft awareness that carries everything you once were. And more. You look inward now, and what you see is not memory, but meaning. Your life, every part of it, was not a series of clocks or dates. It was the way sunlight made you squint, the way laughter shaped your breath, the way silence deepened your thoughts. Those are the artifacts time leaves behind. Not dust, but depth. And here, in this final chapter, you ask, is there anything beyond this? But there's no need for an answer. Because for the first time, you feel no hunger to know. You are not waiting, not searching, not becoming. You are being. And that is enough. The universe may one day stir again. Or not. Time may loop. Or end. Or birth itself anew. But whatever happens, you have been. And you carry that presence gently, like the final glow of a candle. Not flickering, but settled. And so, as the last word of time's long story is whispered, you do not close the book. You simply become the page. Still. Endless. And entirely whole.